So there is another way we can look at an image. So we can look at an image like this, where we look at each pixel and each pixel has its own color value. What we can also do with an image is split it into what are called color channels. I can take all of the reds in the same place, the same arrangement that they were in. I can take that off and present that as a black and white image, sort of like this. Now, when I split the color channels, they're not actually colored like this. They're just black and white images, but to illustrate, I went ahead and colorized them for you. So I can use image.split. That is a method associated with the pillow image object. It returns three things. It returns a tuple with three values or three images in it: a red channel, a green channel, and a blue channel. Each one of those is just a black and white image that when you combine them into red, green, and blue will give you the final image. So this is what they actually look like. Okay? And the lightness of each pixel in these images represents the strength from 0 to 255, the strength of that color in the image. So you can see the red channel here has light pixels where the strawberry is, obviously, because the strawberry is red. So that's where the red is in that image. The green channel has a little bit more going on with the leaves. You also see right here. Now, why is that? That's not a green part of the image right in the middle of the strawberry. What color was that? It was white, right? It's a white reflection. Why does it have white there? Because it has all three, which makes white. So we've got green around the stem of the strawberry and the leaves and things like that. It's dark where the red would be because the red is over there. And then blue, there's not a lot of blue in that image. There's just not. It's mostly red and green. You can see a little bit of blue here where the reflection is to make that white happen, as well as some of the lighter parts of the image. But blue is pretty dark overall. So why would I want to do that? There's lots of reasons. One is image analysis. If I'm analyzing images, it can be helpful to split them into color channels. In an RGBA image, I can also split them into the alpha channel and affect the transparency or change the transparency of the image. In this case, I am splitting this image into channels so that I can modify those channels separately, which produces some interesting filter effects. So each channel is its own image. This is actually a grayscale image or a black and white image of the original with all the channels present. And each channel is just a grayscale image like this that I can modify. So I can do things like rotate it, blur it, crop it, resize it. I can do all of those things. And then when I'm done, all I have to do is use the image.merge method to return those back to a single image. So I'm taking those channels, those separate black and white images, as a tuple. Well, this is the second argument. The first argument is the color model that I'm going to be using, RGB, as capitals in a string. And I'm feeding those to image.merge. Notice the capital I here. I'm actually using the root object method there. So the image object, I'm using its merge method to return a pillow image object. So that returns those things to the image itself. So let's look at how we might use this. Okay, so I showed you this, which is a bit complicated. So what I'm going to do is, let's start with a basic image. And the one I'm going to use is this one here. It's a little picture of the ocean. There we go. It's where I fantasize about going on vacation. So now I'm going to take that image, I'm going to split it into 3 channels, and then I'm going to modify the channels, and then I'm going to put those channels back together. So for example, if I want to change those into, and I want to split it into channels, I could say image red, image green, image blue equals image dot split. Okay, just like this, right? So now if I want to show image blue, I can do anything to these 3 images. And if I have something that I know returns 3 pieces of data like this, I can just drop those into variables all in one line by separating them with commas like that. So now I can use image blue and invoke the show method to show you just the blue channel. So there's my blue channel. Obviously the sky, the water. You wouldn't expect the sand to have so much blue in it, but remember, lighter colors have all 3 channels at full strength. So this is my blue channel. So if I wanted to take that blue channel now and modify it, so if I say image blue, and I can go back to my pillow practice and I can look at these, okay? So I've got image filter. Let's blur that blue channel. So I can refer back to that, and I can use Gaussian blur here. I need to import image filter. So I've got that. It would be good if I spell it properly. And I can look at this as my reference, right? Image filter dot Gaussian blur. And I give that a, let's really blur it hard. And then I can put the image back together. So I can say image 2 equals image dot merge RGB, and then I'm going to say image red, image green, image blue. And that should be a tuple. That's why it's giving me crap about it. There we go. And now I can say image 2 dot show, and I can show what that image looks like. So now interesting. Doesn't really look different, so something didn't go right. Image 2 dot show. Oh, that's why. Image blue equals, it's a return something. So I'm going to take that out of the container, filter it, and then put it back in there. Now it should do something. There we go. So now I've got a bit of a interesting thing going on, or weird, perhaps. But there's other stuff I could do. I could, if I wanted to make the image a warmer color, like more yellow, I could make the green and red. Remember, green and red equals yellow. So if I want more yellow, I increase both the green and the red channels. So if I look at this, I want to brighten those 2 things. Okay, so there is this code from that same thing. So in here, I have to, in changing the brightness requires 2 lines of code. And I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to say image green, enhance green, enhance green. So there's that one. And I'm going to say image green. Now I need to do the same thing for red. So I'm going to copy that code, make it red, brightness, image red, image red. Okay, so now if I run that, then I make it more yellow. Obviously that worked. Maybe a little too yellow, right? So I can do adjustments. The amount of brightness obviously here is related to this number. So let's do it a little bit less. Let's make it a more subtle effect. Not enough. So let's go 1.5, somewhere in the middle. Maybe it'll take a float. Maybe it won't. We'll see. Looks like yes. Okay, so I can play around with those numbers, and a lot of times, old or antique photographs kind of have this yellowish tint to them, so you can start to play around with photographs and do different things to them. Another thing you can do that's kind of interesting is if you just put these back, red, green, and blue, in the wrong order, it'll actually flip. It'll flip the channels. So if I put red where blue goes and I put blue where red goes, then I get a completely different picture, which looks like some kind of alien landscape now. Now all the green channel stayed the same. So the leaves are still green-ish. But everything else, is weirdly flipped. So there's all kinds of interesting and kind of fun things you can do to play around with these. Once you separate the channels, that is the basis for getting a filter effect. So now, really quickly, if I wanted to create a function that took an image and then returned the filtered image, df filter 1, and I'm going to say image in. So it takes an image as a object, and I'm going to take this there. So I'm going to take img in, and then it's going to return image 2. Okay, so now I can say filter 1 image dot show. Because it returns an image, I can tack that on just like that. And now it'll run that on this image object here. So I'm passing in an image and I'm returning an image. So you can use functions like that to filter a lot of images or go through a lot of different things. Some filters are short like this, some are quite long, but putting them together in steps is kind of how that all works.